Hello everyone, Tmmgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my football talk videos where I spend a bit of time talking about real life football and the stuff that's happening at the moment. And today's episode is going to be covering refereeing because I'm recording this on a Sunday and I have witnessed two of the worst refereeing decisions I've seen in a very, very long time. The first one was in the West Bromwich Albion-Chelsea game yesterday, the Ramirez penalty decision, which was just... I don't care what Jose Mourinho says, never in a million years is that a penalty. If that's a penalty, we should just all give up and go and play netball and admit football is no longer a contact sport. Because if you cannot have two players competing for a ball in modern day football, the game has just become pointless. And at the other end of the scale, I saw a decision by Mike Dean in the Sunderland Man City game where Seb Larsson basically scythed Javi Garcia down with a shin-high leg-breaking challenge, which the referee blatantly saw because he gave a free kick, but he didn't even give a yellow card for. He gave Larsson a talking to for a challenge which could, on another day, have broken a player's leg. And all of these things have just been adding on top of some horrendous refereeing decisions recently. You know, this season, it's just been a catalogue of terrible decision after terrible decision. And when I look at refereeing today and the Premier League, I just seriously wonder how it can be so bad. The Premier League is the wealthiest league in the world. It generates, quite simply, astronomical profits, astronomical levels of money. You know, we've got millions and millions and millions of pounds flowing around the place, and yet we cannot find 10 referees who, you know, won't give stupid penalties and will send players off for trying to break another player's leg. You know, it's just got to the stage now where I'm just fed up of this. You know, I'm fed up of seeing just these quite simply abysmal refereeing decisions, and they are abysmal. You know, these are not grey area decisions. You know, this is not... You know, it's, you know, sort of a red, it could be a yellow, it could be a red, or, that was a tight offside call. You know, in a very, very marginal offside call, you can go to the linesman and go, yeah, that was a really tough call. He could have given that offside, he could have given it on. You got to put your hands up and say, fair enough, that could have gone either way. When a decision is just that black and white, there's no excuse in my book for it to be given wrong. You know, and the red card one was absolutely incredible to me, because occasionally referees will miss something, you know, that's fair enough. The game's busy, there's a lot going on, there's only one guy, you know, with his two assistant referees on the side of the field, they might be a long way away, he might have an obscured view. For the referee, for Mike Dean, to give that as a free kick, and then not even show a yellow for that challenge is just mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And it brings me back to the point again of how can we get standards to improve? Because the answer cannot simply be money anymore, because money's not a problem. You know, we've got so much money in the game, yet we still cannot get referees to a decent standard. You know, this is the thing as well. You know, World Cup final referee Howard Webb gave Nigel de Jong a yellow card for kicking Xabi Alonso in the neck. He kicked him in the neck. That's what he did. Kicked him in the neck, in plain view, and he got a yellow card for it. These are decisions which are so concrete and so set in stone that they should never be given something else, and yet referees, on a weekly basis, get them wrong. And these decisions screw teams over. I mean, look at yesterday. West Bromwich Albion should have won that game. Absolutely, no doubt. They should have won that game. They should be sitting here today with 3 points instead of 1. Those 2 points could be the difference between finishing 10th or finishing 12th. Or if they have a catastrophic second half of the season, they could be the difference between staying up and getting relegated. You know, 2 points is a lot in the Premier League. Let's have a look today. Seb Larsson, he should have got sent off in the first half with a game at 0-0. Sunderland would have been forced to play 75% of the game with 10 men against Manchester City. Would they have won that game 1-0? It's very, very, very unlikely. Every single week, we see teams get punished by these terrible refereeing decisions. So I just think it's time now for football to understand and grasp the need to go much further with technology. Because so often now, All of these figures in the game have been putting up these arguments against technology, and yet every single week we just see reinforced why it's necessary. It's basically 100% necessary. One of the worst arguments I've ever seen about why we shouldn't have technology came from Nigel Winterburn. Now, if you guys don't know Nigel Winterburn, perhaps you're a slightly younger subscriber, or you don't live in the UK. He used to play for Arsenal. He was a very, very talented player, won league titles, won FA Cups, all that good stuff. He said we shouldn't have technology in the game because it would remove debate. People would no longer debate football if technology was in the game. And I have to say, that is just so monumentally stupid, it's untrue. Do people no longer debate about rugby because they have technology in the game? Do people no longer care about tennis because, he's just asked for a line call to be reviewed on Hawkeye. I'm completely done with tennis now. I'm going to walk off. That is just so literally, it's just so stupid. I cannot get my head around how stupid an argument that is. And what really annoyed me is at the time, I saw that argument presented. It was on Sky Sports News, and Nigel Winterburn was sitting alongside Ian Dowie, and they were having a debate about technology. Anyone else apart from Ian Dowie would have slaughtered that argument right there and then. But there just seem to be so many ineffectual people arguing in favour of technology that it's delaying it. I mean, we're still at the simply ludicrous state of UEFA rather having two officials behind the goals who literally do nothing, as opposed to having a goal line technology. We're at the stage where FIFA has approved goal line technology, one of the most backwards and slow to progress organisations in world sport, has finally taken the plunge to put technology in, yet Michel Platini, one person, is standing in the way of this. And what's to bet in the Champions League there will be an absolutely ludicrously bad goal line decision, which would have been sorted in less than a second with the FIFA technology, yet because of Platini's stubbornness will go unnoticed and will cost a side a place in the next round, or perhaps will even cost them the tournament. These are the massive stakes that football has got. You cannot consistently bump up how much money's in football. You cannot consistently make these decisions so important, yet at the same time not be striving to make sure they're all correct. I think it's just got to the point now where we need to get technology in a broader instance. We need to perhaps just put it all down to the referee, because I think it might be a little bit awkward having sort of a challenge system with the captains on either side going, right, ref, I want to challenge that decision. That might be a little bit awkward. But what we should do is have the fourth official on the sideline with access to a TV, or perhaps even a dedicated fifth official in the stands, because the fourth official's dealing with managers, he's dealing with substitutions. Perhaps he was talking to a manager at the time, he doesn't see it on the TV, all that stuff. So have a dedicated TV official. Have him whisper in the referee's ear saying, excuse me, Mr. Mariner, or excuse me, Mr. Dean, I think this is wrong. You need to refer this upstairs, or I want to have a look at that. And if we would have done that, Seb Larsson would have been sent off. That Ramirez penalty would never have been a penalty, and West Brom would have won the game, and today's game would have been completely different. But just this unnecessary, completely ludicrous and baseless criticism against technology is holding this sport back. I am fed up of sitting here and listening to commentators and pundits talk about woeful refereeing decisions. I'm fed up of it. I would much rather people sit here and talk about how fantastic Cazorla played, or what a great player Aguero is, or did you see that Snodgrass free kick? How incredible was that? But no, we're sitting here today talking about, Andre Mariner, what a clownish decision that was, and how is Seb Larsson still on the pitch? And it's just got to the point now where I just cannot take this anymore. Football is the wealthiest sport in the world. It is supposed to be the sport of, the masses, the populace, the sport where every single person is behind it and moves it forward. A very progressive sport played by every single nation. Yet we are still stuck in the 1970s in some of these technology decisions. Cricket, the most traditional sport of all time, has a comprehensive package of technology, and it is adding more technology all the time. You know, it's going to be adding Snicko in new series coming up. So you've got the most traditional sport of all time doing it. You've got both codes of rugby doing it. You've got tennis. You've got American football. You've got everything, every major sport in the world, most of which with budgets a tiny fraction of what football can offer. They have technology, yet for no good reason football holds out. And you know, this is just the point now. Every single week we are at the same position where we're talking about these flat out incorrect decisions. No debate. There is no debate. Those two decisions especially were just wrong. 100% wrong. And I know the referees didn't mean to do it deliberately, but that's not the point. You know, the point is getting to the correct decision, and technology can help us do that. And by getting to the correct decision more often, games will be won by the teams that deserve to win them. Games will be won by teams that play best on the day, not the team that gets the benefit of the refereeing decisions. So guys, thank you for listening to the commentary. You know, this is something I really do feel strongly about. I cannot understand the criticism against technology. I can't get it. Yeah, I really don't understand. People say, oh, it will take something out of the game. It takes too long. We beam pictures of an incident around the globe in about 5 seconds. You are telling me that you cannot get it to the referee in the stadium at the same time? Are you seriously suggesting that? Because that's ludicrous. Of course you can. There is just no reason why technology cannot be in the game. You know, we've got there with goal line technology in some tournaments, but we need to go further, because if we don't, every single weekend, every single tournament we go into, there will be these moments which ruin games and can potentially ruin seasons. You know, if West Brom finished 2 points off a Europa League place, they can point back and say, well, we should have had them right there. You know, if Man City don't win the league this season, they should go back to this game and say, well, Sebastian Larsson should have been sent off there at 0-0, and we would have been up against 10 men for 70 minutes. We would have probably won that game. You know, there is too much at stake for these decisions to be allowed to cripple football, and that's exactly what they're doing at the moment. So guys, thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. I don't know what game I'm going to be whacking up over the top of this. I hope it's interesting. I just wanted to get this commentary recorded as quickly as possible, because I just, you know, I feel really strongly about this, and I'd be really interested to hear what you guys have to say. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, have a great day.